Hello and welcome to the Blue Water Inn in the Ravenloft expansion area for what will be something a little bit different today. As you can see, my little archer Red, who I'm not sure has featured on the channel before but has been spoken about, is sitting in front of the Old Baba's raid quest giver, because yesterday, for the first time, the bear was doing a public raid, this one, and she's often asked me to go and join in, and I've always found various excuses not to. Yesterday, I finally plucked up the guts and went in, and I know that at least one of you has mentioned to me, well, plenty of others actually have said it's taken them a while to get to the stage where they felt comfortable joining in with these kinds of things, and at least one of you has said they won't anymore because of a negative experience you've had. So I just wanted to share what was my first experience of a public raid, and something I never thought I would really do in the game, bearing in mind my background in the game was to play completely alone. I know, laughable on a multiplayer game, to play completely alone for a good couple of years before I encountered any of the community side at all. So yeah, I just thought maybe it might be worthwhile um, recounting a little bit of how it went down and some of the things I experienced, in case it might be of interest to any of you, and maybe it might be nice to hear back from some of you who've experienced similar issues and how you've overcome them, or maybe you've chosen to avoid that side of the game. I mean, for me personally, and for this little character in particular, he would absolutely love the Chaos Bow from the Killing Time raid, which I do know because we have completed that one on normal with a handful of people from the Bear Party. So I am able to be part of a completion on that, but it would take us a long time on normal to get enough runes to secure that bow. So maybe in the fullness of time I could go and try and join in with a public version of that. Who knows? It gives me heart anyway, from which you'll gather it wasn't a completely negative experience. So let's start. Where to start? I guess we could start with the lag, which everybody talks about being much worse in the raids. I don't know whether that's particularly true on Orien or on just any server with a raid group in general, but let's just say on that front we weren't disappointed. I don't know if it's with an archer in particular, but there were numerous instances in the Baba's raid. When those shadows appear, usually I would be the one shooting at the totems for the big single target damage, because we didn't have anybody to instant kill them. But when the shadows appeared, plenty of times I'd find myself just sitting there and nothing was happening. I was shooting away. I could see the shooting animation going. There were no numbers popping up on the targets. Nothing was happening, and yeah, that did feel quite frustrating. Add to that, I had one death. I expected to die a lot more, but just the one death. It was on Reaper 1, the raid, so kind of thrown into the fire. But just the one death. When the thing all opens up at the very end, and there are wisps all over the place and this kind of thing, it wasn't really those that got me. I have no idea what got me, actually, because the game just froze for a second or three, and during that time 3 or 4 of us died, so that was a bit unfortunate. But at the end it was a completion, and plenty of us found named items. I was able to pass one of mine to somebody who wanted it, so that was great. So yeah, lag less than ideal, definitely less than ideal. But from the point of view of the how well the thing went, it definitely helps to know a little bit about it. Now, I probably know maybe half of the raids in the game from us just experimenting with them on normal short manned in the bear party, maybe between 4 and 6 of us doing it. So the Babbers is one of those. You can do it with 4 people reasonably straightforwardly, I think, on normal. And so I knew what I was doing with the red scarecrows. I mean, that's one thing. They did ask at the start if anybody was new to the raid, and in that one in particular, I can see there being issues if somebody takes it upon themselves to start shooting those red scarecrows and they respawn all over the puzzles and mess up everybody's work. I can imagine people getting upset about that, but they were very good. They asked if anybody was new, and then throughout the proceedings, people were discussing in the chat, how to proceed, who's going which way, and all this kind of thing. So there was nothing untoward there, at least not that I saw. But what did help me, because I was as anxious as hell, the bear noticed I went pretty quiet because we were in our little chat together. That did help to go in with someone like a point of reference, not just in the chat but in the actual quest as well. And the two of us sort of tackled things together. We went to the same side, so that was good, and that did help me a lot. Yeah, the communication in the typing, the party chat as it's called, was good, and people were asking what to do and that kind of thing. And as an archer, the big single target damage, he was pretty useful for killing the totems because we didn't have anybody to instant kill them. And against any boss, he's pretty good. His bow gives stacking extra damage. I think it's that dino thing. What is it? Legendary dust or something like that. It's all the melt stuff. Melt horn, melt fang. It's the melt horn, isn't it? Which I think is the equivalent of legendary dust. So he was doing all right with that on the end boss. So just to say, all in all, yes, I was pretty nervous and my fingers were shaking a bit over the keys and that kind of thing. But as I got to the end, I actually thanked them for taking me through my first raid, and I did feel like a sense of accomplishment, and that maybe some of these things that I'd basically crossed off my wish list, things that, that's just going to be out of reach, it's a raid item, no chance. Maybe in time, who knows? As silly as it sounds, I have kept an eye on the grouping thing for the raids, and I've seen sometimes things that I might like to go in and just never had the guts to pull the trigger alone. So maybe that's the answer, to take a friend in there with you for the first time, and if you're not too sure of either the raid itself or just of yourself in that kind of setting, just for a bit of a crutch to lean on. And that worked well for me anyway. So the too long didn't listen version would be, I was feeling pretty pleased with myself for just giving myself a bit of a mental kick up the arse and going in there, getting stuck in. I like to think that the bear and I contributed to the success there. She with her tanky warlock build, and Red with the damage he was able to do. So yeah, maybe the too long didn't listen version is perhaps don't pay too much heed to all these negative stories, and go and find out for yourself this was, if you're like me and you haven't tried the raid scene before, because my experience, I'd say, was definitely a favourable one there. There was no nonsense or anything like that, towards newer people or anything. They're just trying to guide the people through and help where necessary. As I said, I died towards the end, and somebody came over and raised me without me asking or anything. So no problem there either. So I think it's something I don't tell the bear this, but I cautiously look forward to trying again next time the opportunity presents itself. So that's my little anecdote for the day. Thank you very much as always for listening, and I'll speak to you next time. Take care.